Hi there, we've just updated our template and our software, so we're extracting even more information, and most importantly, we're doing a bunch of calculations in the SQL side of things instead of in Power Query. So let's dive into the new elements of the templates. First thing you're going to see is the best practice template. This is a dashboard, kind of a little bit more of an executive dashboard that summarizes what a lot of the reports will be looking into. So we have room warnings, we have the number of warnings, how many BIM documents, how many CAD files are in there. We're going to be able to see if there's worksets that are pretty much empty or have way too many elements, and we can dig into what the content of those elements are. We see, for example, only 38% of the parameters are filled out, and there's about 7 million parameters. That's a lot, and that's a lot of empty parameters. We can kind of go in here. We also see the heaviest families in the entire project. So this is 27 million triangle project, very heavy. So, 10% of those triangles come from a single piece of furniture. We've also spruced up our rooms report, so you can look at the rooms per floor, and you can also go in a particular room to inspect it and so forth. So just some little improvements with the viewer in this case. We reworked the levels report so that it's a bit clearer and everything is color-coded. We made a report to look at the problems of constraints in Revit. So here, for example, if you look at the door, some doors are hosted, some doors have a schedule level, and some doors have a level. We're explaining you what the problem is. And really what we've done is we've done a new column that will merge all of these. So instead of listing all your doors by level and then you have 6 of them missing, or listing them all as schedule level and then you have 1,000 of them missing, we are combining all of these levels into one. So you can just say doors, levels, and it's going to grab all the levels of those doors, whether it was on a host, a level, a reference level, a schedule level, a base level, or a base constraint. It's going to amalgamate all of that into one single level, making things a lot easier for you. And this is more explaining the nightmare. And then the next page, you're going to see we solve the nightmare. So if we look at this new level, we actually know a bunch of things, whether it's a building story, whether it's structural. We know what the level above that one is, how much that height between the levels are, and so forth. What we do with this particular report is we determine if an element is actually on the right level. Actually, let's look at level 4. There's a bit more problem elements in here. So not everything on level 4 is actually on level 4. We see, for example, these light fixtures are floating on the wrong level. So this is going to give you a bunch of problem when it comes to estimation. And if we dig a little bit more in here, we're going to see this light fixture is associated with level 4 and then has a 40 feet offset. So this is obviously bad BIM modeling, and we can detect all of these issues in here very clearly. If you notice here the categories, you're going to see that we detect when things are fully confined, when they're crossing above, when they're crossing below, when they're crossing above and below, or if they're fully under or fully above. So this is going to be fantastic. It's pretty much impossible to do this kind of check inside a Revit. And these are problems that just plague the industry because of bad practices within BIM. And now we can identify them very easily. Now you can check out the other video I published today on how to customize the report to point at your own parameters. But what we've also done is pre-extracted some common parameters that you may care about, like the length, the volume, the area, and so forth. So we also have them in both units, in metric and in feet. So let's just drag a couple of these values in here. We're going to grab the volume, the length, and the area. And with just a little bit of formatting, we're able to add the color coding, rename everything, and so forth. So now when we expand our data, whatever has area, whatever has length or volume is going to be fully integrated in there. And this is going to be all the way down to the individual Revit ID. So this is going to be fantastic if you're doing estimation, if you want to share the quantities that you have, etc. So this table is already done, but there's a pretty simple workflow for extracting your shared parameter, pretty much, well, any parameter in your project you can integrate in this way, give it some color coding, etc. Speaking of color coding, we'll do a little modification and we'll filter out anything that doesn't have a length And then using our 3D viewer, we will add a color code to show the smallest and the biggest length in different colors. So here we go. Now we can isolate a particular category like the walls, and right away we are going to see which are the longest walls. And of course, we can just keep going in there and get the data based on individual elements. So I hope this gave you a good little overview of our updates, and I look forward to your feedback. Have a great day. Cheers.